serve as the president of the board for the Workplace Disability Network of the Black Hills, and we're so excited to have you all here today. So I have a few things I want to walk us through, and then with me I have Heidi Meacham. She's our executive director of Wdnbh. So thank you for being here. We are here. October is National Disability Employment Awareness Month. And so organizations do events all month long across the country. And so this is our event, so thank you for being here with us today. Everyone in the room, my hope is we're going to participate. So I want to take a couple minutes, first of all, to let you know about Wdnbh. I proudly serve on the board. I've been here for several years. So excited to be here. And then I have, to my left here, Sandy Burns. Sandy she was on the board for many, many years. She started the board, or was on the group that started the board, what year? History, what year did we start? We can't remember. Jeez, we should know this. 2014, thank you, Rhonda Lynch. And so the mission of Wdnbh is to educate and empower businesses across Western South Dakota to confidently hire, support, and retain individuals with disabilities. So I had to read it. We recently tweaked it, so I wanted to read it right. My day job, I serve as Vice President of Human Resources at Monument Health, and I know as an employer, right, staffing's a challenge, right, for all of us. And when you think of the number of human beings, which is many of us, have disabilities, right? And sometimes it's hard. Employers might think, gosh, I can't really hire someone in a wheelchair, right? That's an obvious disability. They think that. And an organization such as ours, we help companies see that, yes, you can, and there's many ways to get around to help be able to employ and retain employees individuals with disabilities. So I proudly serve as on the board. I would like to have our board members stand or raise your hands, if you will. So who are the members of the Wdnbh? So thank you all for serving on the board. Volunteers, so this is what we do. We have a day job, and this is what we do on our off time. So the event today, I want to thank our sponsors. We could not do this without you, our sponsors, right? This takes a lot to bring an event like this to life. And so I want to thank Monument Health, Coda Territory TV, Project Solutions Incorporated, Elevate Rapid City, Board of Vocational Rehabilitation, the Board of Service to the Blind and Visually Impaired, and Statewide Independent Living Council, and South Dakota Department of Human Services. So please, let's just thank our sponsors. And then we do have tables in the back with our providers. They have some information to share, but they're also participating. So I think at this time, we'd like you to bring me into the tables so you can participate with us. So fill in at the tables. All right, put you on the spot, thank you. You guys, we do have some delicious food up here to get you going. So if you haven't grabbed juice, what do we have? Juice, coffee, water, fruit, and some pastries. Please do, recharge as you need to, and don't feel bad if you got to get up during the event to go do that. All right? The restrooms, if you haven't found them yet, the restrooms are out the door and to your left. They're a little bit down the hallway, but please do. We want you comfortable today. All right? And we plan to be with you for the next couple hours, so we'll go till 11 o'clock. And with that now, I would like to, we're proud to have, Leah Braun is here with the mayor's office, and she's going to do a proclamation. So welcome, Leah.
Can you all hear me okay? All right, thank you for having me. The mayor is out sick today, and so he was really disappointed to not be with this group because he really appreciates what you do for the community and for all the individuals that you assist. And I echo that. It's hard to believe that it's 2025 and we still have to put such focus and effort into helping employers understand that people with disabilities make awesome employees. But that's why you're here and the work continues. So I'm here to read a proclamation. Buckle up, it's kind of long. Whereas October is recognized nationally as National Disability Employment Awareness Month to celebrate the contributions of workers with disabilities recognize employers and promote workplace practices that benefit both employees and employers, and whereas this year marks the 80th anniversary of the Employment Awareness Month designation with the theme Celebrating Value and Talent, honoring the skills, dedication, and achievements of Americans with disabilities, past and present, and whereas the Bureau of Labor Statistics reports in 2024 the employment rate for individuals with disabilities was 22.5% compared to 65.8% for those without disabilities, underscoring the need for continued efforts to expand access to good jobs, and whereas individuals with disabilities strengthen our workforce, enhance productivity, and enrich our community through their diverse talents and perspectives, and whereas the Workplace Disability Network of the Black Hills works with businesses and organizations across the region to provide education, resources, and training that help employers hire, retain, and support employees with disabilities, and whereas the City of Rapid City was proud to receive the 2023 Governor's Award as the state's outstanding public employer for achievements in improving employment opportunities for people with disabilities, and whereas recognizing Disability Employment Awareness Month in Rapid City affirms our commitment to equal opportunity, highlights the importance of an accessible workforce, and encourages all employers to value and support the talent individuals with disabilities bring to our community and economy. Now therefore, I, Leah Braun, Chief of Staff standing in for Mayor Jason Solomon, do hereby proclaim October 2025 as National Disability Employment Awareness Month. Is this centered? I'm good?
Thank you.
Hey.
Thank
Thank you, everyone.
A year ago that I went and experienced my first escape room-based training, the Poverty Escape Room 101. And as I sat there, I remember thinking, this could be a really great way to talk about disability barriers in the workplace. So I then went and met with two very incredible ladies and started having the discussion. And when I sat down for that first meeting, the enthusiasm and the excitement that they had for this training was through the roof, and it was really fun to start working with them. But before I get too far into them, I do want to thank the board, my board, because when I first brought this to them, they had some really great questions, and they had some really great feedback. They gave some good instruction that really helped form what this training is becoming. They saw the vision. We sat down for a strategy meeting, and we started the idea there, and they saw the vision. They saw the idea, and they worked with me, supported me. So an applause for my board for seeing this through with me. And now we're going to introduce, let me get back to my notes. So our two trainers today are with Black Hills Special Services Cooperative, Morgan Von Haven, who's going to do the bulk of the training. Morgan is the Director of Strategic Planning and Outreach. She holds a master's degree in strategic leadership and believes that when we empower families, we empower communities. Her leadership has earned both statewide and national recognition, and when she's not working, she enjoys hiking, fishing, family game night with her husband and 3 kids. Then Erin, I'm going to recognize her because she's sitting there in the back. She's one of the individuals that has worked really hard to develop this training. Erin she is the third space collaborative specialist at Black Hills Special Services Cooperative, and she brings nearly 20 years of experience as an educator, principal, and curriculum director. She's passionate about collaborative leadership and community engagement, and lends her expertise to innovative supporting early learning in Rapid City and across the state. So please join me in welcoming Morgan. An applause to Erin for being part of this.
We'll find out if I can do it. I am quite loud. Well, good morning. Good morning. Would you are you okay if I talk at this level, or would you prefer that I use the microphone? I'm seeing a beautiful smile and a head nod, like use the microphone. Wonderful, I can do that. Well, good morning. I am so excited to be here. My name is Wdnbh Ndeam, and like Heidi said, I work for Black Hills Special Services Cooperative, and it's one of those weird moments, and many of you probably know this, like when you start hearing somebody like do your introduction and read your thing, and you're just like, hi. Okay, and then I hear all of our titles and all of the words, and it's like, okay, so what this really means, what we do, you guys, is our division is Community and Family Services. So we get to work with schools and communities across the state and just connect the dots, engage families. And I get very excited when this happens. So just so you are prepared, I do talk fast. I get very excited and I'm very passionate when it comes to anything around families, around leadership, and just helping bring an understanding. So if I ever need to slow down, repeat myself, you will not offend me, because I get so excited. And my mom has been trying to get me to slow down and enunciate my words for over 30 years, and finally I've just embraced it because, guys, this is good stuff. This is good stuff. So today, we are going to dive into Hayden's story. So just out of a curiosity, how many of you, because I see quite a few familiar faces, some of you I grew up with your kiddos. Hi. How many of you have gone through Grandma Leah's story, The Poverty Escape Room? Okay. How many of you have gone through our cliff effect? It's awesome. How many of you have ever done Charlie's story? Okay, good to know. How many of you have ever done like the big simulation, like that the state puts on when it comes to like the big poverty simulations that have been done over the years? Okay. How many of you have ever done like a real escape room? Great. None of that's going to help you today. But, oh man. And if you come to my trainings, I do that joke every time because I think I'm really quite funny, and I'm going to keep using that joke because it's true. Because Hayden's story is different. So every time we develop an escape room, we really dive into the person. We do interviews. We want this to be a real story. So like when we do Grandma Leah's story, Grandma Leah is a real person. When we do the cliff effect and talk about Luke and Lorelai, those are real people who are sharing their story with all their permissions. Charlie's story is about a young person aging out of foster care. That is based off of a collaboration of a couple different teams when we share Charlie's story. And Hayden's story is the same. Hayden's story is based off a couple different individuals where we deep dive into their lives and ask all those questions because we want to make sure that we represent Hayden and who Hayden represents in the right way. So as we share Hayden's story today, and I say we because I'm going to introduce you to Hayden's world here in a moment, please know like this is a real person. This is Hayden's experiences. This is the first and hopefully of many storylines that we want to share around workplace disability. So I just said this. Here's our outcome. So over the next hour and a half today, participants will gain a deeper empathy and insight into the complexities of managing a disability in the workplace. So that's our goal. We know we're not going to have all of the world's problems solved in the next 90 minutes, even though that's the dream, right? We're going to solve all the world's problems because just looking around and I know so many of you, like, oh, we have ideas and that's going to be amazing. But we're going to start the conversation because with Grandma Leah's story, with the cliff effect, with all of these different storylines, we're unlocking perspectives. We're starting the conversations around very important topics, and then we get to see that ripple effect. With Grandma Leah's story, when we started doing her story 8 years ago, never once did I think that I would get to be here 8 years later getting to talk about disability awareness. Never once. Oh, I just got goosebumps. Oh, this is good work, you guys. This is good work. And I do have notes, so if you see me go look at my piece of paper, I just want to make sure that I stay on track for you guys. So this is to start those conversations. Because I know that the people in this room, this is your passion. And I see all the tables set up around the outside of the room. And this is where those conversations start. Because of some of these stories, last year alone, we talked to almost 2,000 individuals across South Dakota when it comes to conversations around poverty and the cliff effect. That's 2,000 people just in our state. That's not including the national work that we've had the opportunity to do. So our dream is even with this one to continue with those ripple effects. But I want us to all have the common language. I am not an expert on ADA, and I want to lay that out there. And this was like my biggest concern with Heidi. I'm like, I am presenting to a room full of people who actually know what I'm talking about. Because when I come and I talk about poverty, I am the expert. When I talk about families and leadership, I am the expert. But we want to talk about Hayden and what as a business or an organization knows as they go into this world. So as an organization, as a business, this is the common knowledge that many of us have around ADA. And this is about it. And I know that this is a death by slide, so I'm going to apologize for that. But I wanted us to have the same language. The Americans with Disability Act, or ADA, is a federal civil rights law that prohibits discrimination against people with disabilities in everyday activities. The ADA guarantees that people with disabilities have the same opportunities as everyone else to enjoy employment opportunities, purchase goods and services, and participate in state and local government programs. Oh, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, I can get behind that. But so when I read everyday activities, what would some of those everyday activities be? Shopping, absolutely. My dad was in a wheelchair, and I never noticed how much stuff is not wheelchair accessible when you can't get through the aisles. You can't even get in the door. I mean, so many things. Just be able to go shopping, be able to have a conversation with someone, right? Absolutely. What would be another activity?
Dining.
Say that again?
Going dining.
Going dining, going out to eat. Absolutely. Oh, so many choices. How do you even get in? How do you have a conversation? Absolutely. Transportation. Ooh, I see lots of head nods. Yes, transportation. Absolutely.
The sidewalks aren't accessible. A lot of them aren't accessible yet.
Sidewalks aren't accessible. You guys, so I grew up in Rapid City. I lived here since I was 3 years old. A year ago, I love my husband. We moved to Sioux Falls area. We moved to a town called Lennox, South Dakota. Lennox has about 5 good sidewalks. And then I think they just assume everybody just goes to the roads because that's safe, right? But in a bigger city, sometimes you have more opportunities. So in a small town, in our rural areas of our states, oh man, yeah, sidewalks. I never thought about that. Absolutely. Anything else you guys would like to add?
Working services, buildings.
Access to services. Working, having a job. Right? That's actually why we're here today, right? Having a job. So all of these things, be able to get to your work, right? You get a job. It's exciting. Now you have to go to work. How do you get to work? What if you didn't divulge your disability? Right? Because sometimes we see them, sometimes we don't see them. Oh, you guys are a smart group. I like this. So now I'm going to share with you Hayden's story. I don't have Hayden's story memorized, even though I should. So I'm going to share Hayden's story with you. And then I see, can I put down my clicker? And I need my clicker. And then I'll introduce you to Hayden's world. Now, we just said a bunch of jargon, right? You guys all understood what I said. But for many of us, if we're not in human resources, and we just get to work with someone, we don't know all the stuff that we just talked about. Most of us have a general understanding when we're in the workplace, but a lot of it is just a bunch of jargon, right? And we see that in education also, right? I work for BHSSC, I'm part of the CFS division, I'm the SFPC director. I need to go have an IEP or a 504. It's just a bunch of jargon. But now that we all have that common jargon together, let me share with you about Hayden. Hayden is a bright, capable young professional in her 20s. She recently began her first upper entry-level position, a specialty role requiring precision, follow-through, and consistent performance. For a while, the job came easily. She was quick to learn, took pride in her work, and became known for her skill and attention to detail. But over time, that consistency unraveled. Hayden began to struggle with symptoms she couldn't fully explain, feeling overwhelmed, disconnected, and increasingly unable to stay focused. Sometimes she left work in the middle of a task without warning. Other times she didn't show up at all. At first, these incidents were isolated, but they began to happen more frequently and without communication. Work would be left undone, sometimes in the middle of critical processes or client deliverables, leaving her team scrambling to fill the gaps. For her supervisory colleagues, this was frustrating. The unreliability created confusion and tension, not only because of the workload left behind, but because no one knew why it was happening. From the outside, Hayden didn't seem like someone who didn't care, but the silence around her absences made it difficult to offer support or accountability. Clients too began to notice missed deadlines and dropped communication. Trust started to erode. This inconsistency has also affected Hayden's personal life. The frequent missed work has resulted in lost income, and she is now struggling to pay her bills. Her ability to live independently is in jeopardy. Hayden eventually reached a point where she had no choice but to seek help. She didn't understand what was happening to her. She just knew she was drowning under pressure and couldn't pull herself out of it alone. It was only then, after months of strain and confusion, that she was formally diagnosed with depression and anxiety disorder. Looking back, the signs were there for years. Since her teenage years, she had experienced persistent fatigue, racing thoughts, and feelings of hopelessness. But she had lived with them without realizing they were symptoms of something greater, of something deeper. They had simply become part of how she functioned. This job, with its expectations, visibility, and responsibility, brought everything to the surface. She feels deep frustration with herself. She wants to do well. She knows she is letting people down, and yet, in the moments when her mental health spirals, everything in her tells her to escape, leave the building, turn off the phone, disappear for a while. By the time Hayden received her diagnosis and began to understand what was happening, the damage was already significant. Her patterns of uncommunicated absences and incomplete work had created friction on her team and concern across the organization. Her job is now at risk, not because of her diagnosis, but because of the consistent disruption and the lack of communication that came with it. It is a painful reality for Hayden, who is only just beginning to understand her needs and how to manage them. She wants to stay, she wants to contribute, but she also knows that wanting is not always enough, especially in a professional environment where others are counting on her. So as we go into Hayden's story, so that is Hayden. Many of you probably know Hayden in your work, personally, professionally. And we know we can't escape what that's like. So our escape is, can you make the decisions throughout the day as Hayden? So now I would like to introduce you to Hayden's mind. And I'm going to share the microphone, even though some of these ladies are loud. All right, this is your supervisor. As a supervisor, I serve as the bridge between upper management and frontline employees, ensuring operational excellence while developing team members. My responsibilities include setting clear performance expectations, providing regular feedback and coaching, managing day-to-day workflow and resource allocation, and making tactical decisions that align with organizational goals. I conduct performance evaluations, handle initial employee concerns, delegate tasks effectively, and ensure my team has the training and support needed to succeed. When you need guidance on job responsibilities, have questions about progress, processes, or procedures, want to discuss career development, or need support with workplace challenges, I'm your first point of contact. Think of me as your advocate and coach who's invested in both your individual success and our team's performance. I'm here to help you navigate your role, develop your skills, and achieve your professional objectives while maintaining the standards our organization values.
Good morning. I'm from Human Resources, and we serve as your strategic partner throughout your career journey. Human Resource manages the employee life cycle from recruitment and onboarding through professional development and succession planning. We oversee compensation and benefits administration, ensure regulatory compliance, and provide guidance on workplace policies and procedures. When you need support, whether it's understanding your benefits package, navigating performance reviews, addressing workplace concerns, or exploring internal advancement opportunities, Human Resources is your resource. We're here to help you succeed while ensuring a fair, safe, and legally compliant work environment. Think of us as your professional advocates who balance employee needs with organizational objectives, and don't hesitate to reach out when you have questions about your career development or workplace experience.
Ooh, thanks, Lori. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we just heard from the supervisor and our human resources, and okay, we're feeling good, right? That all makes sense. Pretend we're Hayden right now. That all makes sense. We already know this. I'm a young professional. I'm in my 20s. I'm not in my 20s. But oh my goodness. Okay, okay. We're feeling good, right? All right. Okay. Thanks, guys. Oh, okay.
Hi, I'm your coworker, and we've been in this together every day. As colleagues, we collaborate on projects, share knowledge and expertise, support each other during busy periods, and help maintain a positive work environment. I'm someone you can bounce ideas off of, ask for assistance when you're learning new processes, or turn to for informal guidance about workplace culture and expectations. Good coworkers communicate openly, respect each other's time and work style, share resources, and celebrate team successes together. Whether you need a quick second opinion, help troubleshooting a problem, or just someone who understands the daily challenges we face, I'm here as your peer and teammate. Building strong working relationships makes our job easier and more enjoyable. So let's support each other's successes.
Good morning and welcome to your mind. The command center for every thought, worry, deadline, or decision competes for your attention. Right now, your mental space is experiencing what we call overload. Thoughts about work deadlines are dealing with family concerns. Self-doubt is connecting to physical exhaustion, and everything feels like a messy spider web where nothing is clear or separate.
Hi, this is the conference room. You are scheduled to give a presentation today. Don't worry, I have your slides. You may just need to go through them before you present them today. This is an important project, and I hope you don't let your team down.
So this is Hayden's world. You got to meet our human resources, you got to see our supervisor. You do have a coworker. You and your coworker are good friends, right? So you develop that relationship. All of us go in our minds. All of us are in our minds. So you do have to go through your mind at some point today. And then also you have a presentation. Oh, I hope you can make it through your presentation. So as Hayden, you guys are set up in a way that I would like you to partner with either 2 or 3 people, and I have some extra folders, so I might have you guys do groups of 2 over here. Just kind of look in. You guys are 3, 2, 3. Give you guys an extra. Heidi, are you doing this with them? I think you're doing this with them. Okay. She's shaking her head. You're doing this with us. All right. So in your folders, don't open it quite yet. You're going to see a couple different things in your folder. You also have Hayden's story in your folder. So if you want to reread anything that I just said, you are more than welcome to. The Hayden story is in there. This is your key to escape. Now, like any good key, there's certain things you're going to have to do. You're going to have 27 minutes to complete this activity. And if you remember like Grandma Leah's story, every hour is 3 minutes, and I put that pressure on you, and it's, oh my gosh, am I going to make it through the day? It's not quite the same. I'm giving you 27 minutes to complete what Hayden needs to get through in the day. You have the 5 stations over here. You can do them in any order that you want, as long as you complete all 5 of them. If you complete the task successfully, they're going to give you a poker chip. We're not gambling today, but that is how we know if you completed. If you get 4 or 5 tokens, you succeeded. you made it through the day. If you get less than that, there's actually tiers in this one. Did you full escape? Maybe not. Maybe you have just enough supports, or your friends need to wrap around you a little bit more. Also in your folder, you have a job description. And this was a lot of fun to go through this experience with Heidi as we're practicing this, because you probably need to know what your job is as Hayden going into this role. So you also have the job description in your folder. The 27 minutes is going to start. As soon as I ask if there's any questions, you're going to open it up. And then once again, you don't have, we practice this a lot before we come to you. You should also know I'm an only child and I love games. So our poor team over here, they had the privilege of going through this game with me as we were practicing it, and Aaron probably got to do it a few more times than the rest of the team. But some of the conversations were like, oh, I'm going to go left to right. Oh, I'm going to start with this. So however you choose to do it, there is no right or wrong. But please make sure you experience all of the different stations in our 27 minutes. Once you have completed all the tasks, some of them you might get to go back to a second time. That's okay. At the end of 27 minutes, if you're like, okay, I don't know what time we're at, I have a timer, and I will let you know when we're at about 25 minutes, so you can get to those last spaces, and I will just do some pulse checks. Any questions on what your expectations are for the next 27 minutes?
Can we split up?
Oh, great question. No.
Oh.
No. Hayden, you do not have split personality disorder. Your diagnosis is anxiety. So, great question. That's so funny. Usually I only say that one. You've been to, okay, so we also now know who our competitive people are in the room. All right. So, no, that is actually a good question. Normally I do touch on that. Please stay together as your Hayden units. So, I love this because so many of you have gone through the other escape room experiences. There are no times on the sheets. You do not have to pay people to come visit them. Because you've gone through the other experiences. Oh, you haven't? Yeah, you need to come to Grandma Leah then, because that's competitive. Okay. So the time it starts, you just have to experience each one of them. Please stay together as your Hayden unit, because when you get to your brain, you actually have to stay connected in your brain. So you'll have to stay with your team. Any other questions?
Yeah, thanks for saying that.
I love it. Hey, wow, we have a lot of competitive people here. You're like the itchy. Okay. All right, 27 minutes now starts.
Okay, let's go.
To do that, even though we are not legally obligated. I know, but this is a coworker. You gonna help me? Well, then maybe it's time. Then it's like this is what I deal with. Okay. Well, these are all so negative. They are. I have no idea what I'm stoked. I've been trying to push through the years, but this is not about being lucky. This is about I think the support. This one fits better with what it is. I just don't like instead of.
Well, I think this is really great. We'll ask for help from Donna, so I think this is
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Frustrated. I don't know how I'm feeling right now. All right. So I'm still seeing some people smiling. I see some people who are like, what just happened? I'm gonna rip out my piece of paper. I'm done. You get a sad face. So out of curiosity, how many of you got all 5 chips? All right. How many of you got 4 chips? Okay, 3 chips?
Nice.
All right. How about 2 chips? 1 chip? All right, well that's pretty good. Okay, so if you, give yourselves a round of applause. You guys survived this. You did. You did. So if you received 4 or 5 tokens, we're calling you stabilized. Now, out of curiosity, for you to get your 4 or 5 chips, I don't mean to laugh, how many of you had to go back to HR more than once? Many of you. Oh, that got frustrating, right? Go to HR. We have so many HR people in here. We did not mean to pick on HR by any means. But it kind of just evolved that way. All right, so if you hit 4 or 5 tokens, you are stabilized. You've taken meaningful steps to communicate your needs, repair strained relationships, and stabilize your role. And accommodation is in progress, and you're rebuilding trust across the board. You remain employed and supported. Excuse me. You had 3 tokens. So once again, who had 3 tokens? Okay. That's wonderful. You've taken some action, but some gaps remain. Relationships or job performance are still strained. You're not on solid ground, but a path forward may be possible with continued support and follow through. So you're on the right track. Which 2 tokens did you guys not get?
Human resources and presentation.
Human resources and presentation. Coworker. You did get presentation, but not coworker. Oh, okay. Oh, got it. Did not get presentation or coworker, but you got human resources. Okay, you persevered. All right. And then if you did not get any tokens, or 2 tokens, that's what we consider at risk. You avoided disclosure, support, or communication. Performance remains a concern, and now you're at risk for disciplinary action. Well, yes, I started talking, and then I don't even move along my slides. I apologize. So there you go. So here's what we just went through with your tokens. If you got 4 or 5, then the 3, and then the 2. So most of you did escape, but you pushed through. We know the rules. We're going back to HR. We're going to do this. We're going to get it done. So this is a little bit different. Normally now I ask about your feelings, how you're processing all of these different pieces. But I actually want to break it down per station. You have those things that go on in your head all the time, right? Like you're in there and that's going through your mind I don't even remember the ones that we landed on because we had a lot of things okay, if you forgot your keys at home, you forgot where you put your keys, and you have to go back and or that piece of paper or whatever it is, and you have all that mind talk okay, I got this today, right? All of those things are going through your head. I love that some of you took it you took the shoes off, you had nobody was in long skirts. I was doing it beforehand. I'm probably should not be doing this in a dress, right? So what were your feelings around your mind?
I just had an easier natural ability to do it. So if you were young and nimble, it was a lot easier than if you had had an injury or something else.
Oh.
Because not everybody is the same obstacle course, but not everybody has the same difficulty getting through it.
Oh, ooh, I like that. Not everyone started pretty much with the same playing field. I told you, all of you was Hayden's mind, right? You all got to go through Hayden's mind. But how you approached it was different. Your age made a difference. If you have good knees, bad knees. What if you were blind and had to go through that?
I wanted to ask for an accommodation because I was short.
They did put the tall legs on it today, and I was ooh, I like it. Add an extra little an accommodation. Ooh, had a stool, you'd have to jump in. I don't know how that would have worked. Right? So that's the mind. How about your presentation in the conference room? You had to go talk. How many of you did anybody recognize the presentation you had to do today?
No.
So if you ever want it, it's a book called Zoom. I love it so much. So it's actually a book used for trainings and team builders. So you can buy it on Amazon. So that was Zoom. How many of you had to go back multiple times? How many of you have ever had to do a presentation in real life and you had no idea what you were presenting on, but you knew you had to show up? How many of you have had a presentation gifted to them? You're okay, go for it. Because you're going to do amazing. You're a I know that you can speak in front of anybody. Have fun. Right, but if you have any of, if you need any sort of accommodations, man, we gave you a time limit, we gave you a chicken or a rooster head that went into a magazine. What was that? Right? It made no sense unless you knew the story behind it, right? So if you don't know, it's called Zoom. So you actually start either out or in, and you're from a planet, and you zoom in. So the planet goes to a pilot who goes into a picture, like I think on the side of a bus. And on that side of the bus is a ship, and on that ship, they're holding a magazine, and in that magazine, there's like a plaything, and inside that plaything, there's a rooster outside the window. It's funny. Welcome to my brain, friends. So, but there's all these different pieces that go into this. So now that we've talked about Hayden's role, right? We talked about the supervisor, we talked about your coworker, we talked about HR, we talked about your brain, we talked about your presentation. And now, how are you feeling?
Okay, no, share, you want to go talk to HR about accommodation?
I need to go request an accommodation from HR.
You have to go request an
Overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed, this is so much. I'm too short to do the activities. You didn't give me all the rules. Right, there's so much. And also, whenever we develop these, we want to laugh. We want to have these conversations. Because this is your guys' time. Because wouldn't it be so boring if someone just got up here and said all the things about what we're talking about, but when we can laugh about it and have a conversation in a safe place, we can start thinking, oh my gosh, if we could change this one process, because I know how hard it was for me, and these were the feelings that I had in this space, what can you bring back to your organizations? Who else needs to sit through these trainings? So amazing, because of this partnership, this now belongs to you guys' organization, and we can offer this training and continue having these conversations to bring it all back, and so we can start seeing those ripple effects. What was the hardest part that you experienced? HR.
Dialing that back, well, I think it was the frustration of the time. I think it was like a real life anxiety, like time bomb, because it gave us a time restriction, and there was only so much time, and there was a line at each station, and like, so it was a full-on, like, in-depth experience. Like, you got to be anxious along with Hayden, because am I gonna have enough time to get my chips, and all of these different things, like, while experiencing the challenges within to try to get to your supervisor and make the right responses and make the right responses to your coworkers. So it was kind of just like a real, like, anxiety.
Did we give you a mental health crisis?
I mean, you can ask Kevin, I think yes.
What was your question, Amy?
I asked if we gave her a mental health crisis.
Oh, man, okay. Well,
Can you describe your mental health crisis?
all right, yes.
I was actually hoping that my colleagues would have more information on the presentation, but all of the cards were focused on me as a person and an individual. So I thought that actually added to the stress, but had they been, and in my opinion, if they're not the supervisor or the HR, that is subjective and really is something they shouldn't discuss. So if I were Hayden in her shoes, if my colleague focused on the job or the task and not me, I would immediately be less stressed. So maybe it's a coaching of the team versus the individual and always taking the ball, when maybe a lot of that anxiety comes from those that are saying they're supporting you, but they're actually not.
Oh, I like that. Right? Because why are your coworkers saying these things to you? Right? When they're supposed to, yeah.
I think because they're maybe not performing at their level, and so they'd rather have you in the house.
Yeah, they're deflecting.
So I wasn't frustrated with HR as much until the colleague, and then I was actually more frustrated with the colleague. So.
I'm sorry I put you all in a super stressful environment, but I kind of love it at the same. All right, we're going to go to you, and then I'm going to come over to you. Yes.
I just want to piggyback off of that, because I was also like, I thought, sorry, but I don't know, I love it. My coworker was the worst, because then you were also like in a position when you were trying to have an appropriate response. Then you were like, based on the cards, you were forced into disclosing your disability, which you have no legal obligation to tell your coworkers what your disability is. And then it like.
But it's very real world. That's what happens a lot of the time. So instead of just focusing on the task or the client or the objective, we're constantly spending time and energy on these they're not valuable. There's really no benefit of doing that. It just adds to the frustration.
Yes. Yes.
I think this whole exercise expressed an awareness to me. My thing is I had a partner, and Hayden doesn't have a partner. And it takes a lot of courage for persons that have an issue to go to someone. And then the people back here, even though they were wonderful, they have no idea what I'm facing myself. And I think that adjustments can be made on the bureaucracy of paperwork and everything that needs to be done. I mean, some of the questions that were asked, you know, with Hayden, I'd say, what does this mean? What does that mean? If I had just handed a paper and said, fill this out, which many of us do, what does that mean? How should I answer? You have no help. And I think the resources are there. I think this exercise helps us reflect on the fact that the people that do it on a day-to-day basis have no idea what you're dealing with on the other side. And so it just causes us to be more aware of what that person's needs are, and to be more, I want to say more, not so mechanical. These people weren't so mechanical, but they like passing out paper just like every bureaucracy does. They have to have paperwork and data to get the job done. I understand that. But the empathy that goes along with it is sometimes missing.
Oh, I like that. Thank you. Yes.
I felt like there were rules to the game and I didn't know what they were. And the system that was meant to help me get the resources I need was designed only to be navigated by somebody who didn't need help. And so it kind of felt like, you know, if I was hearing impaired and I needed something to help me to hear, somebody handed me the device with the directions I had to listen to. If I can't listen to the directions, that's why I need the device. And that's what I felt like navigating this system.
Yes. Yes. So, and we purposely, because we even talked about that, like how many, so all of our volunteers have the rules for each of those stations. So we've been talking about, like, do we share all the rules with you going into this? But in the real world, we don't have all the rules. There's a lot of norms, right? There's a lot of things that I know, and then I had children, and I have 3 kids, and there's a lot more rules when you have children. And then you have more rules if one of your kiddos has a different ability or disability than what's normal, right? Because then you have to navigate all those pieces. So there you have those on the tables, and there you have them. All right, so you guys, we have about 5 minutes left. So in the middle with all the treats are pieces of paper. So if you'll please take one of those. Do not do the QR code yet. The QR code is if you want to connect with Erin or I, or sign up for our newsletter, or just ask how we can come to your organization, anything like that. But on this piece of paper, if you'll please grab a pen also, and there are pens in there. Thank you, Heidi, for having pens. We want your feedback. We want to get better. We want to grow. We just love doing these different pieces. So on the top line, and I am not going to bombard you with stuff, I am not. But on that top line, please write your first and last name. On the second line, please write your email address. And then next to the square, what is something that's squared with your thoughts? What aligns your thinking? Like, we knew that this was going to be hard. We know that we need to have more conversations. What is something that aligns with your thoughts or squared with your thoughts today? The circle is what is something that's still circling in your mind. Going through this experience, you're like, okay, well, what can I actually do at my organization? What can I actually do? Or, okay, I want to know more about the paperwork that they were using in HR. We don't really have a process. What could be a process? What is something that is circling in your mind? How can we do more of this? Whatever that circling in your mind is. And the triangle is an action. What is an action you're going to take away from our learning today? So once again, in the top line, first and last name, please. Second line, your email address. The square is something that's squared with your thoughts, something that you agree with. The circle is something that is still circling in your mind. And the triangle is what is an action. If you want to write us a note on the back of it, on the side, if you just want to write us a note, you can sure do that too. Like I said, we truly do want feedback. So if something you're like, okay, maybe, for feedback, you're like, okay, maybe this would be another good station, or maybe this, because we were just even talking, like, wouldn't it be cool if we added a service animal into this scenario? So if you have any other thoughts, even jot those down for us. We want that. Thank you so much for your time, you guys. I am right up. I'm within 1 minute, Heidi. Look at that. And now I'm going to hand it back to Heidi. So thank you all so much. And here's Heidi.
And then once you fill out your papers and everything, just kind of put them all in the middle of the table and we'll come by and pick everything up here in a minute.
So a couple of things really quick while you're filling it out. Thank you to everyone in the room for coming. As you know, this is a brand new training, something we're trying to develop, something we'd like to see go far across the state. So we're hoping that some resources we continue to develop it. Thank you again to our sponsors for supporting us, to our providers. They're going to be here for a little bit longer, so if you're an employer and you want to know more about some of our community resources, please visit the tables. That's why they're here, is so that you know what resources you have for your company to turn to. And again, another thank you to my board for supporting this, all of the participants, and finally, not last but not least, to Erin and Morgan. This really was a crash course for them into the ADA, and I really applaud them for what they've learned and accomplished with this training. We want to thank them. We have a little token. They have been a remarkable part of this. They've been an enthusiastic team. They've been great to brainstorm with, and I look forward to the continued work. And hopefully you'll come back as we continue to pilot this and develop it so we can get some good feedback. But again, also please remember that as the organization that we are, we're here for businesses. We are here to come into your business and help you navigate some of these things that we're talking about here today. So just remember that we're here, and we hope you have a great day, and we hope for a good time, and we hope you have a good afternoon.